Alright guys, what's up? So welcome to Azeroth Wars Legacy Reborn, like it says on the screen. So what is Azeroth Wars? Of course it's a custom game for Warcraft 3. I bet you already know that. So it's what we call a macro map. So what are macro maps? So macro maps are big 12 player games who have way over the food limit but plays kind of like melee maps. So you have gold, lumber, you collect those resources, you build buildings with workers, you build your armies, you have heroes that you have to level up, and you take territory in the map. So what's different from a melee map? Well, for once the map itself is preset and is way bigger than a normal melee map. And also the gameplay is asymmetric. What is asymmetrical gameplay is basically not everyone starts equal, the teams are not equal, the balance is weird, many people know that. So, what else is different? So, you gain wood the same way, so here I can take my worker and start collecting wood and bring them to my lumber mill. So here, nothing changed here, and let me write this. But how do you take gold? If you'll notice, there is no gold mine on the map. Let's see here. Nope, not a single gold mine here. So, the way you collect gold is with control points that you see here. So this is a control point map. Control points are, if you played Risk, they're like the regions in Risk. The more region you control in Risk, the more soldier you receive. So basically, if you control these control points in Azeroth Wars, you gain gold, 10 gold per minute, and every region in the game, or more or less, have these control points. Mount Hyjal, Darnassus over here, Silver Moon, Palace, the Sunwell, etc, etc. So, these give you gold, so the game is about controlling the territory and keeping and beating your opponent. I'll go more in detail in later videos, so I'll go over it pretty quickly. So what makes Azeroth Wars different from the other macro maps? Well, it's mostly because of the asymmetrical teams. So over here you can see on the map, there's 3 continents. Well, let's say 4.5. So, over here, where I'm eyelining, is the north part of the Eastern Kingdoms. You see here there's a bridge. So everything north of here, so all of this territory is basically the north, and there's the southern part over here, all down here. The whole continent on the left is Kalimdor, and on the top there's Northrend, which is the ice continent, pretty small. And down here on the bottom we have another planet actually, which is Draenor, which it can be considered like a mini continent also. Alright, and in each of these continents there are different factions you can see. So right now I'm playing as purple, so you see them as white. So there's red, blue, green, purple, that's me, orange, light blue, brown, pink, gray, dark green, yellow, and teal. How it works is every race and alliance fight a certain opponent in the beginning of the game. So the easiest one we can see is over here. So light blue, which is the sentinels, elves, and brown, which is the druids of the nature, fight the orcs and taurens of the islands and the trolls. So here we have the ogres, here we have the taurens, here we have the orcs, more orcs, so you get the point, some trolls. So elves versus orcs, and they fight over the whole continent of Kalimdor over here. That's a 2v2, 2-player versus 2-player. If we go south over here, we have the human city of Stormwind over here, and we have the dwarf of Ironforge that will be fighting the chaos orcs, so the bad orcs of Hellfire Citadel, and the demons of Black Temple, which are actually one team over here. So this is a 2v1. Immediately you notice, hey, that's not fair, 2-player versus 1. So Azeroth Wars is like that. So Teal is have stronger units, more heroes, better events, some demon gates that spawn units to help him. So the balance is a bit different. But Teal is against time. If SA managed to unite and resist the first, I don't know, 30 minutes, whatever, depends on the player. If they manage to unite and stay strong, eventually they should win. While Teal is more on a timer because he's alone, so he has to have things going. And finally, the last duel up north is the human nation of Lordaeron over here at the capital palace, the Eye Elves of Silvermoon over here, and the mages of Dalaran fighting over the undead of the Lich King over here, the Frozen Throne, and the demons, the Dreadlords, who are trying to summon the Burning Legion, who we see over here. I see dead people, and there we go. They're not summoned yet, but they will be eventually, maybe. So, and here it's a 3 versus 2. So once again, 3 player versus 2, but the evil player, Red, is a very powerful army. After Teal, he's the most powerful, so him and Blue are more than capable of beating all 3 opponents. So this is the basic of Azeroth Wars, the asymmetric balance of the game, and that makes for a very challenging map to balance, because there is some cases where you can have Teal, who is alone, versus 3 players. So there we go, Azeroth Wars. Basically, the game is divided in 2 phases. There is the early duels and the late game. So early duels is basically as long as you're in your territory over here and you're fighting who you're supposed to fight at the beginning. So the duels we just talked about. As soon as one team won, so let's say Teal is destroyed, they're all dead. Oh, it doesn't work. Oh, wait, no. No, doesn't work. Whatever. So as long as they are all dead and you won, so let's say South Alliance managed to beat Teal. Right now the late game will start eventually. So they'll start going to islands. Over here you have Zandalar, Kezan, Darkspear Island, the Maelstrom over here. You have the Tomb of Sargeras. So they'll start spreading out over the map. Or they will repair the bridge and go north and fight whoever won north. So this will create a asymmetric balance, because if you think about it, there's 3 duels. So let's say someone wins in Kalimdor, someone wins in north, and someone wins in south. So that's 3 alliances left, right? So the late game is much more of a chaos bash, like everyone fighting everywhere. It's chaotic, but because Azeroth Wars is a sandbox, you can ally. So there's pirates that hide with a couple of units in the sea because they don't want to die. So there's a lot of things to consider, but the late game is much more chaotic, and the early game is much more technical, much more like a melee map where you have your strategies. So as purple, I'll defend here, while orange will fight blue over here, and red will be creeping northern and then TPing somewhere over here to try and destroy. There's a metagame. Like every duel has its metagame, and I'll be going over it in next videos. Another thing that comes with Azeroth Wars are events. So you remember here we got the Burning Legion, we got Illidan in its prison, we got the Nagas waiting to be unleashed, we got the Dalaran dungeon. So there's a bunch of things that can happen. Gnomerang, Borealis, Terramore, whatever. So that is for you to discover, and I'm gonna make a video about them. But basically, the game progresses, and of course, Azeroth Wars as heroes. One of the very important part of Azeroth Wars are heroes. In Azeroth Wars, the heroes are sometimes they stay dead, some of them, and also they become very powerful. Their max level is 20, and they're very. It's a weird balance because there's so many units. The max food limit is 300, as you can see at the top right. So being 300 food that means you can have a lot of units on the field. And if you're not careful, an hero can die in a matter of seconds. If he gets attacked by a bunch of archers, there we go. Whoops. Here, let's kill this guy off. Oh, he didn't die. Whatever. So, if you get focused by a bunch of archers, if he gets stunned by a spell, there's a plenty of way you can lose your hero. But in the same time, they're very powerful. They can kill armies, and later in the game, they can be unstoppable. The guy who has the best hero squad, we call an hero squad, basically all your heroes and or your elites. I'm gonna come to elites in a moment. So the guy with the strongest hero squad can easily win in late game. So what is a hero squad? So the hero squad is all your available heroes. So here in purple I have Gyarados, Arthas, and Udyr. Plus all your elites. And elites are trained in your main buildings. So here the Capital Palace, you can build it at Stratholm, whatever. And they're limited to 6, they cost 75 gold, and they're generally pretty strong units. So here purple elites are paladins, etc. So here we have a purple hero squad. So a bunch of paladins, Udyr, Arthas, and Gyarados. And all the different teams have different elite squads. Also there's upgrades and all, and you'll notice that in Azeroth Wars all the units don't cost a lot, like 14 gold for a footman, and they're trained, well, I'll remove Warp 10 so you guys can see, train really fast, like 4 seconds. A knight, a bit longer but not much, 26 gold, so you can see that armies can be created really fast. Alright, so this is the basic of Azeroth Wars. I hope you guys enjoy, and oh, I add a quick note, this is a very hard map to learn. So when you start, you got so much bases, like you got a base over here, a base over here, you gotta select your units, you gotta know where you're going. So when you start, you're gonna lose. You're just gonna lose. That's something that will happen, you gotta get used to it, you're gonna lose. But if you persevere and you start to learn the game, it's very rewarding to play because it's high skill. You got a lot of units. You need to use all your spells and different elites and heroes, and you got all your building to take care. And the map is so large, and the possibilities are very, very diverse. Every faction is different units. We got dryads, big heroes, bears, sentinels. We got undead stuff. So yeah, it's worth it to try it. So if you are interested, you can go to Make Me Host and look in the game list and find Azeroth Wars, or if not, look out the Discord that I will link below, where the most of the Azeroth Wars player chill and we talk about balance and discussion. So I hope I see you there. If there's a race that you want me to do a guide on first, post it below in the comments. If not, I'll just start by probably one at a time, whatever. I'll try to do every faction a guide, like how the game plays out at first. And I'm not the best player. It's just a general guide. So like, it won't be like the pro guide of the best player. Nah, I'm just a general guy, like usually people do that, and you get the gist. So I hope to see you guys in my next video, and hope you enjoy. Bye bye.